Philistines. Two primary things that were said in response to the protesters. So let's talk about these. The question we are asking is property damage at protests terrorism?
It depends upon what the meaning of the word is. Yes.
So let's start with the definition. Well, there is no one definition of terrorism, and this is the problem. But if we were to go with the commonly held definition, it's just too vague. Let's look at the micro. In order to prove this, we have to prove that A, everything associated with this particular thing is violent. And we have to prove that that violence in some way reaches a threshold that is meant to intimidate. Now, at the same time, we have to prove that those actions, the actions taken for that violence, is specifically for a political end. So let's go generic. Somebody punches somebody after a political argument. Is that terrorism? If someone goes into a yard, tears up a yard sign, puts it in a pile on the front lawn, burns it, is that terrorism? If somebody slashes someone's tires because they don't like their political stickers, is that terrorism? The problem with going with a definition-based argument, you're never going to be able to get an objective definition. What you're being manipulated into doing is comparing people who are protesting for things like civil rights to people who blow up children or fly aircraft into towers full of office workers. It's a distraction tactic. Hey, please find me one good definition of terrorism. It applies for property damage at protests, but can't be liberally applied to any other situation that won't make it seem ridiculous. I'll talk it out. Okay, counterpoint 2. Is monetary damage still harm? Absolutely. But when we talk about property damage causing harm, right? When we talk about it causing monetary harm, we're talking about one of two things. We're talking about how it affects public property or how it affects private property. Public property, not an issue. The city is going to repair what the city repairs. If they get around to it that year, they do. If they don't, they don't. It's all taken out of tax money. Your taxes don't go up or down based off of protest. When we're talking about private property damage, we're talking about comparative harm. This isn't to say that that person doesn't suffer some kind of setback or loss, but what we're talking about is people who have the ability to recover. Someone mentioned something about someone getting a car damaged and missing out on a job. Okay, show me a case of that happening. Show me an example of someone's life irreparably being harmed because their car was set on fire at a protest. And I'll show you a fucking company that doesn't give a shit about their employees. If you have a job that is not able to accommodate changes in your status, then why are you working for that company? The idea of using monetary harm as a way to try and discredit protest is meant to be a distraction. It's meant to force you to look at the wrong part of the problem. It's like looking at a car that can't drive without an engine in it and being like, oh, you need to fix the tires. Like, no, you need to put a fucking engine in it. Because what you're arguing is that monetary harm to an individual is a greater damage than the harm that the people who are protesting are facing. And I say that because specifically the things that people complain about, the protests that people complain about are ones in which people are saying, stop killing us. But hey, I'm an open book. Find me specific concrete evidence that shows that property damage, whether it be private or public, has specifically resulted in someone whose livelihood was so irreparably damaged that they could not recover from it. All this being said, maybe you need to take a step back and actually learn something. Maybe, just maybe, your voice is being used to harm people that you don't even fucking know.